so that when you follow up, you can take people down the path you need to take them on to either transact or to refer you to someone that will transact. All right. Any questions on command, guys, and setting up smart plans?
No, you said CRM.
I did say CRM, yes. CRM stands for Client Relationship Management.
Is it part of realtors or is it part of brokers or is it a separate app?
No, command is a CRM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Command is a CRM in and of itself. Because you put all your, you put your data, your clients and your contacts into command, and then it basically attaches the smart plans, and then the system will just start bombarding them with your marketing and your activity. And that marketing and activity is what will cultivate those leads and then instill confidence in those people that are maybe not ready to transact, but will someday. They see that you're active, they see that you're in business and you're transacting, and they'll be more likely to refer you business. So we have those channels to be able to promote the activities that you do.
Wonderful. That's the missing link.
All right. So this is a part of the command and the smart plans. So as you can see, this is kind of like a trigger smart plan, right? It'll send an SMS, then it'll wait a day, then it'll give you a touch task to either call or message that person. Then 2 days later, you hit them with a phone call. Then 3 days later, you send them another text. That would be like an open house follow-up. And the power in the system is it doesn't let people fall to the side. It keeps constantly reminding you that, hey, you haven't touched this person, you better touch them. You haven't touched that person, you better touch them. Without that, you'll keep calling your best friends over and over again. And that's not a bad thing. That might refer you a lot of business. That's not a bad thing. But don't let other people fall to the side. Right? We want to have conversations. We're trying to have 10 conversations a day. We could have 10 conversations a day with different people. All right. How about qualifying buyers? Let's talk about that a little. All right, in the next section, we'll talk about a little bit about segmenting and qualifying buyers. Right? Are all buyers the same? Are they all at the same point in the process when they come across our services?
No.
No, right? We have some people that are ready, willing, and able to go now. Right? There may be some people that are able and ready, but for some reason, not right now. And then there's some people that just aren't ready. All right? What can we do for people that are in each stage to ensure that they're being nurtured? What can we do to make sure that they're being nurtured? I gave the answer a second ago.
Smart plans.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Smart plans. Get them into command and put them on a smart plan. That's the easiest way the first step in nurturing those leads. And then following up and taking the action items the smart plans dictate, right? Right, so the A buyers, they're ready, able, and willing to purchase. They'll likely be under contract in a matter of weeks. What about those B buyers? Those A buyers is where we want everyone to get to. What do we do to get B buyers to come in to become A buyers? What can we do besides put them on command?
They have to have the financial confidence because they're scared. They may be.
We have to identify. We have to identify, right? The objection.
They have to have ability to move forward. They're just holding back because it's not a today event, but it could be If you tell them there's $17,000 in grant money for first-time buyer, or you tell them there's a great loan, you know, you have to give them something to want to move them.
Right? Is right now a good time to buy?
If you have a job, it's a great time.
There's opportunities in the marketplace right now, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Interest rates are pretty good.
I didn't hear that.
I said, are interest rates pretty good?
Yeah. They
Pretty
take
attractive,
free money, basically.
right?
Yeah.
So what would be holding somebody back that can buy? What do you guys think? What's something that's holding somebody back? Or do you guys have any clients right now that are ready, willing, and able to buy, but they're just not pulling the trigger? Let's brainstorm what we could do to solve those problems. Does anyone have that situation right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about it, Kenny.
They're just comfortable.
They're comfortable in their current situation. They're not look. There's not a pressing need for a change.
Just that, you know, they just don't have the urgency, and sometimes they're just comfortable, and I guess it's our job to make them uncomfortable and push them.
No, we don't push them.
Or how about a gentle nudge?
I think if you,
Sometimes they need a little gentleness.
I think if you give them
Second,
information,
I second what Kenny says. I think it's about finding their pain and pleasure points, and really finding out what their motivation is and why right now is not the time, and maybe finding out if there's something that can be done to make now the right time.
Right?
I think it's part of our job to tell them or educate them on what the opportunity is now versus what it could be in the future. You know, there are good opportunities now. There are properties, interest rates are great now. And for some people that would be good enough, but they just don't know about it yet.
right.
Right, in the chat, we have Grace. Grace contributed that buyers are on the sideline. Their rent or lease is ending, and they're thinking that prices are going to drop. Right, Rick shared that there's fear in the market from COVID, lack of information, and people don't know what they don't know. Right there, and Maureen also contributed that they're agreeing with Grace. Right, lots of buyers think the market's going to drop, so they're waiting. But interest rates are a good motivation if you tell them the actual dollar difference, and that's a very good point. How do we overcome that? How do we overcome people? Oh, the prices are going to drop. How do we overcome that, guys?
Show the statistics that the prices are going up. You can look at MLS and see prices are still high and they're not dropping.
Right, we go to MLS, look at the stats.
Right,
What does the stats say? How many active versus how many pending?
right.
Lots of parts of the South Bay, we have more pending than active in a few neighborhoods, even today, which is an indication of a very strong seller's market. Those areas are going to go up at least 8 to 10%
This is
if you have more pendings than actives. That's a great indicator of double-digit appreciation. But not every area, right? Some areas are balanced, but even having 1-to-1 active to pending, that really is a seller's market. And that means prices are going north. Maybe not double-digit north, but they're definitely going north.
I never promised them. I said a house is not a bank account. It's a place to live. And, you know, if they have the comfort level of taking the,
It's everything. You know, I always ask the question of their motivation as far as, or their desire to stay in the property. You know, if you're buying a home, how long do you plan on holding this investment? And if you know, oh, Mark, we're going to buy and we're going to stay for 8 to 10 years, then really the trigger is those interest rates, because you're going to hold this home for a very, very long time. I don't think those interest rates are going to be going down really much further than they are. But
no,
chances are, in a few years, they will be going up without a doubt. And if your outlook to owning a home is 10 to 15 years, well, by year 3 or 4, you're going to really appreciate the loan that you got into, because your payment is going to be very, very affordable. Very, very affordable. And it'll make the home easier to rent down the road if you want to keep it as a long-term investment and really build your wealth. Right? If you're really building wealth, you'll never sell a house in your life.
right.
You just keep buying, buying, and buying. So the long term, the interest rate is going to be a tremendous factor. So it's really important to think about if we get a good deal or if we get the right opportunity, that we act now. Mr. Buyer, if the opportunity arises, are we ready to act now? And then finding those opportunities. Or we can leverage the market data. If people are looking for something specific, a house with a view or a wine cellar or something that's a little out of the norm, when listings come up, that'll be cool. Be sure to share them. Make sure that they get, share them with those right people. That way that can motivate them to get off the sideline and move forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, B buyers are willing, they're ready and willing, but they're not able. And C buyers have no immediate need. Right, they're not willing, or they may be willing, but they're just not able.
Right.
But, we still want to keep people in our database if they're willing to interact with us in our data, and you never know who they know. And I know, statistically speaking, they can get to know somebody that's going to buy a house this year.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that person, they're going to know somebody. So it's important that we still keep those people in our thoughts and our minds and have a system to maintain the relationship so that when that need arises, they think of us. And then buyers that are not ready. How do we do this qualification? How do we qualify people? We ask questions, right? It's a good idea to work with lead sheets. Can you guys see the buyer lead sheet there?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you have these kind of systems built for yourself, it'll kind of remind you exactly what you need to get from people when you interact with them. Or you want to make sure that we're getting their name, their email, their address, they have any kids, what their names are. Why do you think that's important?
Personal. Become personal.
Yeah. You're going to ask about
Build
people
that
love talking about their
relationship
kids.
with your client.
Yeah.
People love talking about their kids. People love, and in many cases, people love their kids more than anything. So if you make their kids important, they're going to like you.
Pets. For their pets.
Or their pets, right? If they don't have children, it's a lot of them pets.
Oh,
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. A lot of them pets.
Not with the
But
pet.
there's some things that we're going to need to know, right, in order for us to be able to properly qualify and guide our clients, right? So we always want to make sure that we have the proper information about them, about the basics, but then we also want to know their price range, their motivation. Why do people move? Think about your life. Why would you move?
They want to downsize. They want to increase family change.
Right? They're making babies. Their babies are growing up, and their babies are leaving the property. They're leaving the nest.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the motivations. So we understand these motivations by maintaining the relationship and maintaining contact.
Yeah.
You ask for their kids' names, so you know what their kids are doing, when they're up to when they grow up. So when they grow up to be adults, they use you to buy and sell a house. Playing the long game. Long game, right? Want to understand the location, where people want to live, and their wants and needs, and then their timeline. If there's any triggers, right? If they're renting, when is their leases going to expire? Are they changing jobs? Do they have to leave the area within a specific period of time, or are they coming into the area, getting established? If they're serious buyers, we want to get them pre-approved right away so they understand the finances, and they understand what the dollars really mean. Sometimes people get overwhelmed when they say, oh man, I'm spending $1 million for a house.
No.
It's a psychological barrier. You break down with the mortgage person, and what is like $1 million at 2%? It's really not that much. Or not 2%, let's say 3%. 30,000 a year in interest, $5,000 a year in interest, 5,000 a month in interest for $1 million. A lot of these engineer guys, they're pulling in salaries of 15, 20, 25,000 a month.
Oh, yeah.
$1 million is not that much for them. $1.5 million is not that much. Just got a buyer in escrow, first time buyer, $1.5 million. Netflix engineer. You never know. So it's important to have a kind of a lead sheet or something that we can reference so that when we're having our dialogue and we're evaluating or qualifying a buyer, we're getting the information that we're looking for. Just folks' willingness to share that information is a great indicator of their motivation. Right? You'll find that if people are readily open to share, that the likelihood of them doing business with you are very, very high. If they're reserved and they don't want to share, that means you haven't earned their trust yet. That's all that means. Now you have to earn their trust, and then they'll share.
Yeah, very educated buyers who know more than you. And they always know better than you. So there's no point in, you have to cut your loss with them.
Sometimes people think they're, people think they're egos. They think they're smart. Most of them are.
They know more. They know everything. So, sometimes you have to just assess them right away and realize if I don't have anything to share of value to you, then what's the point? And you cannot convince somebody who knows everything. It took me 5 years to convince him.
It's a very good point you bring up.
Engineers. They think they know it.
Remember, guys, the time is valuable.
Right.
And working with a buyer, is that going to take up some time? It is going to take up some time. So it's important that the buyer is qualified, that we're spending time working with buyers that are ready to act now. If they're not ready to act now, then we have to uncover why, so that we're not wasting time. And sometimes, we'll uncover that the buyer is not a fit for us.
Right.
And it's very important that we can do that. And it's very important in your business that you have a position of power and say that, well, Mr. Buyer, maybe you don't fit my mold. Because remember, just as much as we're trying to get them to work with us, we might ask questions that make us pause and think, well, maybe we don't want this person as a client.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes the lead generation, go back to it again, it's what makes lead generation ultra important. Because if you know that you're spending regimented time, 2 hours a day generating leads, and that tomorrow you're going to talk with a different buyer, and the next day you're going to have another buyer to interview, and next week you're going to interview 4 or 5 new buyers, because every week you're lead generating, every week you're generating new buyers. Does that mean you have to service the buyer that's sitting in front of you? No. If you're not lead generating and you don't have any appointments and you don't have any listings and you don't have any sources of new business,
Right.
then the person that's sitting in front of you has all the control. They're going to tell you what you're going to do. They're going to tell you how much you're going to get paid. And you're going to take that from them because you have no choice. The best way to avoid this is to spend 2 hours a day generating new leads and understanding that you need to work with 3 or 4 buyers. If I don't have 4 buyers, it's an urgent matter to find that 4th buyer. And I will spend my time every day generating that 4th buyer, because 3 isn't enough. I need 4. And when you have that mindset and that abundance starts to come to fruition, then the person that's sitting in front of you does not tell you what you're worth. You tell them what you're worth. And if they don't take it, it's okay, because I got 3 other buyers coming in. I can only show 3 houses on this weekend. I can only show houses to 3 buyers this weekend. I already have 2 in my pocket. I'm interviewing for the 3rd. I can't give you a discount. I can't give you a rebate on my commission, because I have to interview 2 more buyers tomorrow, and I only have 1 spot available. That's it. So that changes your mindset. That changes your result.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can have a little greater, I guess, influence on the outcomes. How do we feel about doing some role playing? Let's see what we can do here with our controls. Oh, we have some chats. Let's talk about it. Can't possibly know more, perhaps, all about engineers. We're talking about the engineers that know it all, right?
Oh, yeah.
They do. Engineers are typically pretty intelligent people. No, know it all, but they don't know what they don't know, unfortunately.
They don't
And that's where we come in. So, yeah, we don't have the breakout rooms, but that's okay. Anyone want to role play qualifying a buyer?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Who wants to be our role play? Anyone want to volunteer?
to do what?
The role play of qualifying buyers.
Qualifying buyers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Qualifying the buyer. Let's say, what type of conversation do you have? Let's say we're successful in our lead generation, right? We're successful in our lead generation and we generate a lead.
Right.
Someone says, hey, you know what? My uncle just got hired over here at Apple and he's moving from Kentucky. And he got a nice bonus and he wants to buy a house. Here's his number. Call him up. What happens next?
Make a phone call.
All right, let's make that phone call.
Hi.
I'll do it, Mark.
Hi, Kenny. Are you gonna volunteer with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Kenny?
Yeah, it's him.
Kenny, this is Mark Burstein with Keller Williams Realty. I got your number from Yvette Peterson. I think she's a mutual friend of ours. Did Yvette mention that I'd be giving you a call?
No, she didn't. How do you know Yvette?
Oh, we're old coworkers. Yvette and I were talking about the real estate market, and she mentioned that you would be interested in buying a home in the recent time. Are you interested in buying a home?
Yeah, I'm exploring that possibility.
Awesome. Fantastic. Do you have a minute to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. So Kenny, where do you live now?
I'm currently renting.
Currently renting. And what part of town?
I'm over in West San Jose.
In West San Jose. Awesome. Are you how solidified are you in the area in West San Jose? Do you have any kids in school over there?
No kids in school.
Okay. Any kids in general?
No, it's just myself.
Okay. Fantastic. And you're the only member of your household?
Yeah.
Awesome. Working on your first home purchase journey. That's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Where would you like to live? Do you have any neighborhoods identified as to where you'd want to move to?
I work over at NVIDIA, so I kind of like being in Santa Clara.
All right, Santa Clara, very central location. And what type of home are you looking for? Are you looking for a single family home or a condo?
I know that for a single family, it's just be a pretty, it's a big jump to where I'm at now from an apartment. I'm open to more of a townhome.
Okay. Don't want the responsibilities of mowing the lawn every day?
Yeah, right now, low maintenance be great. Just in and out of the office and being back home. Somewhere, 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Townhome.
Okay, very good. And we're looking in Santa Clara for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome. Have you had any discussions or any ideas to what budget you had in mind or where you wanted to stay?
No, but I'm assuming that $1 million is what it starts around here.
Yeah, the average price point in Santa Clara County, the average starting point is 1.2.
Okay.
That's the average. So if we're looking for a townhouse in a good neighborhood, you're probably right around $1 million.
Okay. I know that interest rates are pretty good. It's now a good time to start looking.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The interest rates actually is what are really driving the market, in my opinion, right now. And they're about as low as they are the lowest as historically they've they've ever been, and almost as low as they can be. I mean, really, we're right around 3% for a 30-year fixed mortgage,
Okay.
which makes the money very, very affordable right now.
You know, Mark, this is gonna be my first time purchasing a place. So, you know, is there somebody that you can recommend, or how do I go about the process here?
Yeah, absolutely. Kenny, when we're finished with our call, with your permission, I'm going to have my lender reach out to you,
Okay.
and he'll go ahead and go over the financials.
Got
And that way you can feel comfortable about what it really costs. You know, what does $1 million cost, right?
Okay.
And have a great understanding of being able to budget down the road. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. And Mark, typically, do I just talk to, you know, at least one lender or several to kind of get gauge as to, you know, what the going rate is in the market?
You know, you can feel free to shop around. And what ends up happening is they're going to run your credit in order to go through the pre-approval process. Now, you do have a 2-week period where all the times your credit's being inquired upon only counts as one inquiry because they understand you're shopping for a mortgage. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
If you do want to shop your mortgage, what I'm getting at is call them right away. I wouldn't call one today and then wait 2 or 3 weeks to call everyone else to shop around.
Got it. And then, you know, what about my down payment? If I want to say like put down between 10 and 15%, is that going to, you know, affect my rates?
Well, that's a great question, and that's a great question for the lender that you'll be contacting
Okay.
when he'll call you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mark, can you repeat the part for the lender again, please?
Oh, see, would it be okay if I had my lender reach out to go through the pre-approval process so that you can understand exactly what the $1 million will cost you on a monthly basis?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that you can
talk
budget.
to lender.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. So they'll be able to give you a call back. I mean, they'll be able to reach out and explain what the down payment and how the down payment affects your interest rate, so forth and so on. Just keep in mind, you know, technically, ideally, you'd want to have at least 20% down because that will eliminate mortgage insurance and also instill some confidence in our prospective sellers that will be able to complete our transactions. Typically, more money down is stronger, but it's up to you at the end of the day. If your budget says, well, in the pre-approval process says you can get away with putting less down, you can. It's just that at the end of the day, all the money that we're offering is there in escrow. To have a close is the most important thing. And
sure, we can talk options with the lender.
so tell me a little bit about your lifestyle, Kenny. What's most important? Would it be better for you to live closer to work, or do you want to feel, you know, closer to the action?
I prefer living closer to work. I mean, I can just bike there if preferable.
Okay, so we're really going to focus on then the Santa Clara Sunnyvale area in Western San Jose.
Yep.
And we're looking for at least like a 1-bedroom or a 3-bedroom townhouse.
Yeah, I'm okay even with the 2-bedroom. You know, if a third bedroom is possible, that'd be great. That way I could have a guest bedroom, and then, you know, we've been working from home remotely more often, so an office would be preferable as well.
Great. And then Kenny, when do you have time to look at homes? When are you most available?
You know, I think I'm flexible throughout the day, depending on just my work schedule. I can kind of sneak out, but weekends, you know, it does open up my schedule.
Okay, cool. Yeah, typically the first time we go out, we'll see several homes that could take maybe 1 or 2 hours. And then subsequently, then we'll come look at homes that come on the market as they come on the market. And
Okay.
at that time, you know, we'll probably be doing the weekday viewings, but if you can, of course, and if you can, that's good.
Mark, I know I'm sure in your industry now that there's no more open houses. How are you able to tour or, you know, view properties?
Oh, absolutely. That's a very good question. So we're able to view properties virtually online, of course, and that's how we initially begin the process. And we'll get together and review some properties online, view the virtual tours to get an idea of design and size and see if it's you know, amenities or what you're looking for in your next place. Once we've identified 1 or 2 properties that are going to be really good candidates and a good chance that you will make an offer on, we'll go ahead and set up in-person appointments.
Okay.
And we typically these days need a 24-hour window to make sure that A, there's an appropriate time for us to view the properties. They don't like people overlapping the views.
Mm-hmm.
And then B, just to make sure that the sellers and the homes are prepared and in the best, in good showing condition. So
Okay. And then Mark, I've
typically the
also
process.
picked up a new hobby of looking at, Redfin on the side of, properties that I'm interested in. Is it possible that I could also send you some
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'd like to do, Kenny, is I'd like to send you my mobile app through Keller Williams.
Okay.
And with my app, it's very easy to be able to look at properties and then interact with me. So you don't have to cut and paste. You just click view the appointment to view this property, and it will communicate to me exactly your intention. The Redfin app's awesome too, though. So I can't discount that. If you're going to use that, then it's just cut and paste, and I'll be happy to follow up and arrange those appointments. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. If you don't mind, though, I'd like to empower you with my app and get your feedback. Would
Okay,
that be fair?
great. Yeah,
Okay.
and then is it possible that we can interact through your app as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and get your email address.
Yeah,
You have
it's
an
just
email address?
it's just my first name, last name at Gmail.
Okay, great. Kenny Hahn at Gmail. And I'll go ahead and send out my mobile app, as well as have my lender give you a call.
Okay.
And then what's a good time for us to get back together and take a look at some properties and get an understanding of what's on the market? Do you have an hour next week, later this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime after work hours, I'm pretty flexible. And then
Okay.
the weekends, I'm available.
So how about like a 5:30 on Thursday?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do
Okay,
that.
fantastic. So I'm going to follow up with you Thursday at 5:30, and we're going to talk about the buying process of buying a home, and we'll look at some of the homes that are on the market. Hopefully between now and then, our lender will get in touch, and then you'll have a greater understanding exactly of what things cost and how things work
Okay.
with regards to the lending process. And then we can go about helping you find your perfect house.
Great, Mark. And then what's the best way for you to communicate? Is it easier for me to call or text you?
You can communicate with me by phone, text, or email. Everything
Okay.
comes to my phone, and I'm very responsive. Be happy to hear from you. In the meantime, Kenny, I know that you'll be going through the process of buying a home is exciting. And I know that you'll be talking to other people and sharing your journey of home ownership and the process. And one thing I ask is that, you think of me if I'm providing good service and helping you realize your goals, if you don't mind sharing your experience with people that you care about, so that maybe when it's time for them to buy or sell a home, you'd refer my businesses. Would you be comfortable doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely have you top of mind.
Fantastic. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great day.
Thanks, Mark. See you 5:30.
All right. Anyone have any questions, concerns, ahas?
I have a question right off the bat.
Please.
You ask for more business when you don't even have his business. How do you think it makes him feel?
I actually didn't set that up the way I normally do, and you're right. It shouldn't make him feel bad, though.
Criticism, I think, is great. Always ask to close. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand.
no. In essence, actually, you're in it. It is viable to ask for business before you've been working with them. It's just planting a seed to let them know down the road that you're open to their referrals.
I mean,
And typically, you can preface this by explaining to people how you work. Sheila, I work differently than most agents. Most agents spend most of their time chasing people.
yeah.
They spend a lot of time cold calling and cold prospecting, and I choose to work a little differently. And what differentiates me is that I spend, instead of chasing people, I like to spend that time servicing my clients, making sure that I'm available for their needs when their needs arise, and making sure that we're giving maximum effort to help them achieve their goals, find the best deals, and really win in their transactions. But what ends up happening is once we're finished with our transaction, because I'm not chasing and prospecting all the time so heavily, is that I may not have anyone to work with. And that's where I need your help. Because I know that during this transaction, you're going to come across people that are going to want to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate. And when you do, I greatly appreciate it if you thought of me, got their permission, and then shared their contact information so that I could follow up. Would that be fair?
Sheila, from my end, when I first heard it, it sounded like where Mark was confident. So that was my first impression as it came across, that he sounded confident in not just helping me, but also wanting to help others.
You know, one of the greatest mistakes that we make as agents is waiting for the end of the transaction to ask for those referrals. Is when we do wait for that, I mean, you don't understand how great of a disservice you do to your business when you do that. Because when is the most likely time for people to come across others that are going or thinking about the process? Is it after or during?
Very.
When
Right?
they're in
When
the
people are out
process.
viewing homes, Monday morning, they're at their water cooler at work talking about the homes they viewed in their experience over the weekend with their coworkers. Monday morning. They're not waiting until their house is bought or sold, right? When they find the house and you're making an offer and you champion it, are they excited? They're excited. That's when they're going to tell their friends and family, hey, guess what? We just got an offer accepted on a house we've been looking for so long. Is that after the transaction? No, it's right at the beginning of it.
Beginning.
That's when they're most excited. That's when they love you the most. That's when your greatest chance of getting a referral. Exponentially greater chance of earning business from a referral while you're working with someone versus getting business or getting that referral after the transaction.
Wow.
2 to 1.
Wow.
2 to 1 difference. Anybody have any further questions about qualifying buyers?
I have a question.
Please.
Because I have an NMLS license and I know the financing, and I know that that's the most important thing in determining whether they can even buy. I tend to provide that service along with the qualifying, and I know that appears to be a conflict because I'm giving them 2 pieces of information while I'm trying to motivate them. And I'm wondering, how do you address that issue? Because I know after I talk to them 5 minutes whether they're going to qualify to buy, what they're going to buy. I know it already, and I can educate them right along with the purchase. And I don't know if that's a detriment to them. I lost a 1.4 million because I educated her. Why are you buying a condo? You're spending so much money on a homeowners association, and you can be a single family homeowner, right? So I was educating because I know that it's going to cost you 400, 500. So my point is it mixed messages at the buyer stage when you can qualify them and know what you're dealing with right away?
Well, yeah, that's up to us to uncover their motivation and understand what exactly, they're looking for. Not everyone's ideal is a townhome or a condo. In general, I mean, let's generalities. Most people will eventually gravitate towards a single family home. And the reason they don't go for a single family home and they go for a townhouse, why would somebody share a wall versus not share a wall? Because it's more affordable in the area they want to live in. Right? I don't have $3 million to buy a house in Cupertino in the Monte Vista School District, but I do have 1.2 for a townhouse in the Monte Vista School District.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you'll uncover that as you go and uncover what's most important, the location or the price or the house, right? Some people will say, well, that 1-bedroom condo or 2-bedroom condo in Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, that's going to cost almost $1 million, right? Then people can go to Hollister and buy a 3,000 square foot house on an acre for $1 million. So would someone rather be in that scenario versus the other? The only way you know if you ask the question and what's important, then they'll tell you. Right? Most single people are going to want to be in the middle of the action. They're going to be the ideal candidates for those downtown condos. Mm-hmm. Anything within walking distance to Campbell, walking distance to downtown Sunnyvale, Palo Alto, Mountain View, those action areas. Those are going to be important. But you uncover that as you go through the buyer qualification questions. Now, Kenny mentioned he was single. If he wasn't single, ask him about his children. People that have kids, the school district's going to be important. Mm-hmm. It's important for us to understand that.
Yep.
Right? If someone says the schools are going to be important, then you automatically know which areas that you're going to start recommending or not recommending, or what kind of advice that you can start giving people. And always be mindful, of course, of fair housing. You don't want to steer or red line.
Oh, yeah.
But it's important to know, and just share the information with your clients, let them make their decisions, of course. It's like, hey, greatschools.net, you put the property address, it'll give you the schools and the rating, easy. Redfin's app does that. I'm not, I haven't checked our app. Maybe ours does that too or doesn't. I know there's some liabilities that sometimes we don't want to get involved in giving that data on our personal channels because, hey, what happens sometimes? Schools get overcrowded. Someone makes a decision of buying a house just for the specific reason of going to that school, and they go to enroll in that school and come to find out, oh, so sorry, we're full, or so forth and so on. You're going to have to go to this other school, and that could be a deal breaker. So a lot of us don't want to take those types of liabilities, but you can always put that on your clients by saying, hey, Mr. Client, this is the resource. This is where you go to get this information. You know, and unfortunately, bad things happen to good people sometimes, and not always things can always go our way. But this is the information that you can get to get around it. All right.
Mhm.
Let's talk about signing the buyer broker agreements.
Yep.
What is a buyer broker agreement? It is an agreement that you have with your buyers that they will use you and only you when buying their home. Why is this important?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. Absolutely. Does the buyer understand how things work necessarily until you tell them?
No.
No, they don't know any better. It's very important for you to educate your buyers on how things work. And going through this buyer broker agreement is a good way to kind of justify what you do.
Yep.
Right? When you're asking someone to be loyal, that's okay. I'll be loyal. What do I get for my loyalty?
Right.
What's the benefit of my loyalty? And that's something that we have to get good at expressing.
Right.
Right? Mr. Buyer, this is what I do on your behalf when we're not together.
Mhm.
Make sure they understand what you do working for them when you're not together. I preview homes to bring you the best, saving you time, right? I'm going to spend my afternoon going through 80 houses. Let's remove COVID, right? I'm going to go through 80 houses on the MLS. I'm going to preview 20 houses on my own to show you the 5 very best options for you.
Exactly.
That's what I bring to the table. I'm going to save you 4 days of time
Yeah.
by applying my expertise to the market and identifying the 4 very best properties that meet your criteria, right? In exchange for this, I expect that when it's time for you to buy a house, you acknowledge that effort that I'm putting in and leverage my service to bring you to the finish line.
Yep.
Right? We can sell any home that is on the market or not on the market. And it's important for you to educate the buyers on how you get paid. Very, very important. Don't take that for granted. Tackle that up front. It'll alleviate all the concern. It'll alleviate the rebate question. You're going to solve it right away. You don't want to solve it after you've already spent 3 months showing people houses. You don't want to go through that 3-month process to show people houses, getting it to the finish line, to being almost to the finish line, and then going, hey, you know what? Redfin says they give 20% back every time. Can I get my point? Can I get it now? Will they ask you? Of course they will. They're smart, especially the engineers, right? They count their money. They know their money. They're not ready to give it away.
Excuse me, Mark.
Yes, Diana.
Sorry,
Please.
this is Diana. I missed that, the 25% thing. What is that? Do you mind to repeat it again? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but my train left that station, so remind me again.
Okay, sorry. You mentioned about, like the 25%, give 25%. I missed that part. Can you say it again?
Credit.
I think
Oh, I was going to say
about the
that
rebate.
if they're going to say that, oh, the rebates that are advertised is what I was saying. When the buyers come to you, when you're in the transaction already, when you're already writing the offer, when you've already invested your time in bringing people to a point, and then they come to you and say, oh, look, I've been looking on Redfin, and Redfin advertises in every listing that they give the buyers a 25 or 30, whatever rebate they advertise in the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? We avoid those questions when we tackle how we get paid up front. And then you can overcome those objections up front. because it's a lot easier to tackle them before you've invested all this time, effort, and energy.
Yep.
Because when you've already invested this time, effort, and energy, you already know, man, I already invested this time, effort, and energy. And they're going to squeeze blood from me now. And the only reason this happens is because you didn't educate them up front. And if you educated them up front, and then they're doing this to you, then it's a question of who the moral integrity of the person you're working with.
Exactly.
And then it's a question of, hey, do I even want referrals from this person, or do I really want these people in my life? Because they don't value me or my time. We already had an agreement. Now they want to break our agreement. Now they want to take advantage of me. It's okay. And by the way, you can keep your referrals. People are like-minded, right?
Yeah.
If you get someone that doesn't agree with, that you're not in agreement with as far as your ethics go, as far as your time value go, everyone they refer to you, you're gonna have the same problems. You don't want those problems.
Mark, I want
Don't be
to.
afraid to cut those people off.
I
Obviously, we're in the business to make money, so we want to attract people. But Sheila, you had something to say.
Yeah, I think this is important because this is exactly what happened. I took him down the road, showed him how to get a loan, showed him all the things, showed him how to get the property. Because I was a referral agent. In this case, I was doing loans. And right away, he said to me, "Oh, why do I have to work with her? Why can't I work with you?" I said, "I don't discount. I received a referral. I'm working with you on loans." And sure enough, I should have known that this was the kind of person who was going to jump ship once he got everything that he needed from me, because he was going to go find somebody else who now he knew what to look for and how to do it. He didn't end up buying from the agent who referred me. He didn't refer to me. So I think you have to really hear them right at the beginning. And I missed it. And I think that was critical. I had this happen twice in the last year. And I realized that if I had signed this buyer broker agreement up front, I would have set my proposition right. And this is what I really needed to learn. Thank you. Thank you.
I also have another question. Do we have any kind of fact sheet when people mentioned about buying something from Redfin? Do we have that kind of what do you call the cheat sheet to look at it when people say, hey, it's much cheaper, you don't take so much, especially for seller, right?
You can't do that. You can't say against another MLS agent. I mean,
We have
that's a violation. You can't say bad things about another.
No, I'm not talking about
no,
bad things.
we're not, that's not what we're talking about. What was one more time?
Yeah, my question is, do we have a cheat sheet about when people say something about using Redfin agent versus us? I mean, any
Yeah, that's
comparison?
something you're going to develop. I don't think we have some kind of pre-printed items, but that's something you'll develop over time in your arsenal, in the coursework that you're gonna build up, because people, it's a very common question. Your commission questions are going to be very common, and it's going to be very important for you. I mean, that to understand how to overcome those. And discount agents, it's just a service difference that you're going to experience. And you have to be able to express why your service is going to be better than theirs. With Redfin, the biggest limitations with them is their agents are not tied to the transactions or to the clients. They're very transactional for someone to open a door. You may not even get the same agent opening the same door twice. It's a different service level.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Most Redfin agents work 9 to 5. When multiple offers, most deals are made at 7. You see the problem?
Yeah, there's scripts.
And there's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just adding that there's scripts out there on how to handle the discount agent question. And Yvette has a fantastic class. I don't know if you were able to attend last time. I know she's done it twice, so hopefully she'll do it again on how to handle the commission question. And Mark, I was wondering if you could kind of give an example of how you kind of educate the buyer up front about how you get paid and kind of, nip it in the butt ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I mean, the good news, Mr. Buyer, is, first of all, you asked the question. Are you familiar with how the process works? Would you like to know? You know, why am I being so nice to you? How do we get paid? And it's something that should be of concern, and they'll say, yes, yeah. How do you get paid? And then I simply explain how it works. You know, basically listing agents take listings from the sellers and they advertise them on the multiple listing service as homes available for sale, and they offer a compensation. It typically varies anywhere from 1.5%, which is very rare, 1 to 1.5%, which is rare, to most commonly 2.5% to 3%. And I am comfortable working for that, whatever is offered on the multiple listing service at 2.5% to 3%. In the event that we come across a property that is offering less than 2.5% to 3%, you would be responsible for making up the difference. But don't fret. Most homes in that situation are going to be such good deals that it will be a no-brainer. And filling in the gap in the compensation shouldn't be, it's only 1.5%. It shouldn't be an issue, especially if you're buying the property 5 to 10% below market.
That's great. Thank you.
And some companies, you know, they offer rebates, they put the money up front. Unfortunately, I can't do that. And I also don't make any mistakes. I don't give rebates, I don't make mistakes. Mistakes is what costs 4%, 5%, 10%. Now, should I make a mistake, I will gladly forego all of my commission to make it right, without question. Does that sound like terms that you can live with, Mr. Buyer? And if they are, great. And if they're not, then maybe we're not a good fit for working together. And guys, if you're lead generating and we're getting into conversations with people, understand that there's a good chance that more than half of them you're not going to work with. Because they're not going to be a fit. And that's okay. Because it's important to find that out in that initial consultation.
Yep.
Than it is to find out 3 months down the road.
Yep.
After you've already invested 200 hours into their transaction.
Yep.
So by clarifying exactly what your role is, how you get paid, and how things work up front, it greatly reduces friction down the road. And getting people to sign this buyer broker agreement is a great way to ensure this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And just make sure that we take things right one step at a time. Right, the goal to follow up on the lead is to book the appointment. Focus on booking the appointment. If you start talking too much about what you should be talking about in that appointment, it's okay to cut them off and say, you know, Mr. Prospect, I only have a couple of minutes. I need to get back to a follow-up I promised at 3 o'clock, but I would like to address all of your concerns when it's our time. Next Thursday at 1 o'clock, we'll go over the whole process of buying and selling a home. Please be prepared with all your questions. So that way you're not taking the time delivering the appointment when you're prospecting to set the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Once you set the appointment and you're delivering the appointment, you're going to qualify the client. And the close at the end of the appointment is not necessarily an offer on a house, but the close at the end of the appointment is to get their commitment to work with you and only you. And this is achieved by having them sign the buyer agreement. Now, rest assured, Mr. Buyer, if there's any reason that you change your mind or you feel that I'm not the right agent to help take you to the finish line, please let me know right away. And there's no hard feelings. I'm going to let you go if you don't want my help. But it's important that you let me know, because every week I'm going to dedicate 10, 15, 20 hours of my time to satisfy your goals of buying a home. That's reviewing listings, previewing properties on your behalf, and identifying the most appropriate opportunities for you so that when we're out looking, We're not wasting any time. Right? Let them know that you're working on their behalf, even though you're not showing them properties right now. And that's really a service level difference, right? There's a lot of agents that could just sit back and say, okay, go to Redfin, and when you find something that you want to see, just give me a call, I'll go show it to you. And a lot of agents, especially those that do discount their commissions, operate this way because they don't have the time to invest.
Right.
They're giving that money for that time away. And some buyers prefer that. And that's okay. Everyone has clients. Not my clients, it's okay. My clients are a certain level of people that require a certain level of attention. That's what they appreciate. And that's what your goal is to strive for. And however you do your business is your personal decision. Just understand that that's what happens. Does anybody have questions on this buyer broker agreement?
Oh, good.
There's a buyer broker agreement in your car forms that you can leverage. It's got a lot of legalese. You may want to discover or develop your own buyer broker agreement. You know, it's a good exercise to go through. List your level of service. List what you're going to be doing for every buyer. Write that down. Have that to share. What's the experience of working with me going to be like in the next 2 weeks? You know, I'm going to eliminate 90% of the homes. I'm going to show you 4 or 5. If you don't buy one of those, then, you know, we're going to go looking again in a few days, and hopefully we'll do a better job of eliminating properties because we've gone through the process face-to-face one time. And hopefully by the second or third time at the most, we'll have found you the perfect home. That's another thing. Set that up for them up front. So that way they know that you're not going to be looking for the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be looking at, you know, I'm, you know, Mr. Buyer, I'm very good at what I do. If you tell me exactly what you're looking for, I'll let you know if it's, and your budget, I'll let you know if it's reality right away. And if it is reality, the good news is we'll go out 2 or 3 times and I'll find the perfect house for you and you'll get it. Some people want to see every house on the market. No, you know what? It's important that we want to see 10 houses at a time. Fantastic. Let me introduce you to this other person and they'll be able to help you. Not for me. It's okay. There's some hungry person in this office that'll take them that hasn't been lead generating that'll be happy to waste the next several hours servicing that client. No problem. Yeah, and you get to decide whether you want to be that agent or this agent, based on your activity levels and generating leads. Any recap and any ahas from today's session, guys? Are we clear a little bit about how to cultivate or find the buyer?
Yes.
Right. Remember those statistics that we shared? 41%. Quick question. Would our office enforce the buyer broker agreement in the past? Have KWSC ever enforced this? This, I personally don't know because I just started. I personally haven't had to get into that discussion yet. I know that actually Tim did share with me we did have an issue one time and we did go after and represent our agent. We got your back. They are difficult in general to enforce, however. They are difficult in general to enforce. That's why they're not necessary, especially here. That's why they may not be as prevalent in our market as they are in some other markets. There's some states where it's a must. In order to show somebody a property, you have to have an agreement with them. They have to, some type of an agreement, a buyer broker agreement with them in some states. In our state, we don't have to have this, but it's a good practice.
Mark, in commercial, I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
In commercial, it's really different. And like the NDA's not. But if you're gonna, a lot of things are off the market or the financials are, and if you don't have the address of where you're going, it isn't considered, I don't know if legal is the right word, but you can't really prove anything. So you can, that makes an issue. But I found that I was going to answer, Sheila, yeah, I think if you know more financials, you sound a little more experienced to the buyer, that you have more. I think it's depends on the experience of the buyer. Some of the investors are super experienced and they don't need that, but you need to show them that you know. So there's a couple different buyer broker agreements. There's one that we have in commercial, but it's, you really have to edit it. So I think it depends on your situation, who you're giving the agreement to and what their comfort level is.
Absolutely. And what your comfort level is too. You know, initially the car contract is very legally, it's full of a lot of legalese, and it doesn't necessarily express exactly what you might do in your business that differentiates you from the 5,000 agents in the marketplace. So that's important for you to understand and to be able to express. But just to recap, guys, 41% of home buyers found their agent by referral. It's half, almost half. So is it a viable method of lead generation to call your sphere of influence and ask for referrals?
Absolutely.
No, probably your best source of business for new agents, right? 75% only interviewed one agent. How important is that if you're new to be that one agent? You can be if you're lead generating religiously. You'll beat the others to the punch. You'll be the only one interviewed. No one will ask you how many homes you sold. It's all based on your confidence level and how prepared you are when you're making your conversations and getting your dialogues, right? What attracts buyers the most? What do you guys think attracts buyers the most?
Listings?
Very good. Listings. Specifically, what kind of listings? Any ideas? Who doesn't want a good deal? Who doesn't want an underpriced listing? Who doesn't want to make money? Everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants a good deal. Who has the good deals? Do you? Better. That's how you get buyers. I have the deals. Mr. Buyers, I network with agents religiously. I know of properties before they come to the market. That's your advantage of working with me. And that advantage is greater than any discount you'll get from any other broker. Especially if I can find you an opportunity off market. Brian, you have something to add?
Oh, the coming soon is a good section now.
Coming soon is a good section, of course. You can search the coming soon section for inspiration. And if you can demonstrate that you have things that others don't, it creates more value to boost your value proposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a stronger value proposition. David says he picks up a lot of buyers from consistently hosting open houses in the farm. When buyers see you consistently at multiple open houses, they will look at you at the local specialist. Absolutely. Absolutely, Davis. When those open house opportunities come back, we should all be on them as much as possible, unless you have a super abundance of buyer leads, in which case, you can offer those open houses to our opportunistic seeking agents in our office, or if you have more than one listing, obviously, right? But keeping consistency is key, I think, to that statement, right? If buyers see you a couple of times, they see you at an open house every weekend for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe your chances of converting them to clients is better. Yeah. Any other recaps or ahas about our session today? Everyone's clear about qualifying buyers?
Hey, Mark, I don't know if you saw my note. I had the Kelly app, and now I'm annoyed it's gone off my phone and I can't get in, but I'd like, people want to use it, but I like to show them right there how to use it. And I don't think I'm very good at that. So maybe, I don't know, is it easy to, once you get in, to show them where to look on it?
That's a good question. And that's a great, you know what? I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I'd really like to know.
But I would recommend definitely, definitely you want to set, if you haven't done so already, set yourself up in command as yourself. Everyone has an alternate email address that might be different. Use that email address. Set yourself up on a smart plan and set yourself up on a neighborhood alert and see what comes in. That way you'll know what your clients experience. And then we can make modifications as needed. In my business, the greatest source, the biggest thing as far as lead generation that goes is the system that sends listings to people. Everyone in your database should be on a neighborhood search of some kind, right? If they're homeowners, they need to feel comfortable about the value of their home. They need to know what's going on in their neighborhood. So it's very important that you set up some type of system to send them property listings that are similar to theirs in their neighborhood, so they can have an idea of what their home is worth. For you, it's important to do this so that you know who's motivated and who's thinking about real estate, because you see what they do. You see if they open the email, you see what they see. If you can't, then you need a better system, because that's where the power is. You need to be able to see what others are doing on your website if they're looking at real estate. That way you know who to follow up with. Does that make sense? And the listings is probably the greatest. We can have our recipes and we can have our other points of touch and our Facebook postings and all this stuff that give us an insight to who we are, what we do to attract people. But the listings is what is going to open the buyer's eyes. The listings is what's going to give you the insight into their motivation. Are they looking at listings? And if they are, you better be talking to them. Talking or messaging, two-way. Right, we're good about qualifying people. We're good about buyer broker agreements. Has our thinking changed at all from our course today?
Definitely. The buyer broker one I had the biggest question about, and you've answered it beautifully.
Any other?
Oh, this is George.
George.
Hi. I like what you said when you talk to a buyer. You tell me your style is different from others. You are not chasing people, so you won't work with people. Yeah, you like to work with you, right? So sometimes the consultation, like the buyer's response, is kind of like neutral. So it's not like I want to choose you today. They may think about, you are the first agent I'm talking. I'm just new to this. I need some time to think about it. So what is your way to dig deep for those kind of buyers? Sometimes I have some like a consultation. They just feel uncommittal. So I don't know how, because every time I ask them, they don't share their specific opinion about what they want from me, or do they like me, or something like that. So,
well, that's what we have to uncover by asking questions. And first question, obviously, you want to ask is, we'll ask for the business, right? And what you're saying is, unfortunately, they're saying, well, George, we're really just started the process and we're not ready to make a commitment to you as our buyer's agent. And to that, I would say, let's do a little role play. I'll be Mark, but I'll play the agent role. George, I could totally appreciate it. It's a big decision. There's a lot of agents, a lot of philosophies, different things to consider. Was there any part of my presentation that you are unclear about?
No, I think you talk about everything.
Are you comfortable with the home buying process?
Yeah, I think, I got a good idea already.
Okay. Are you good friends with Paul who referred us over? Do you trust his judgment as well?
I just found you online, so there's no
Oh,
reference
you found me
using
online.
right
Okay.
now. Mhm.
I see. I see. Do you have appointments with other agents that you want to talk to them about different things? Or are you
Yes,
still
I
thinking?
think it's a process. You know, we're engineers, so we like to do a lot of the research. So know what we are comfortable with, what we know. So that's my way of thinking. Need some time to digest this.
I see. So you're very comfortable with the process. Are you the type of people that are looking to save time when it comes to the home buying experience and only look at homes that you'd seriously consider buying, or do you like to look at a lot of properties on the weekends?
The point is I'm not hurrying this moment. Yeah, I think, yeah, I will take some time. Yeah. Mhm.
So if we found you an appropriate or a really good deal, would you be interested in moving forward?
I think yeah, I'll wait for like September or October to start. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to buy by the end of this year if we got a good deal. But at least we start a little later, a month or two. Not now. Mhm.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to start now. You'd like to start the process in a month or two.
Correct. Mhm.
Now, do you mind me asking what your thinking is for waiting a month or two? Why do you want to wait?
I think just feel like after that I would do more like research. So I will be more clear about the area, the floor plan, uh, house type I'm looking at by then.
I see. So you want to spend the next couple of months identifying what type of property you're looking for? And
Oh yes,
are you,
yes.
is that something you'd want to do on your own, or is it something you'd like some help with?
I'm doing on my own. Yeah, research.
Okay. What is important to you as far as buying a home? What's the most important thing?
Just to improve my quality of life and close to work kind of stuff. Yeah, as we already discussed, all those criteria. Mhm.
Okay. But those things aren't that important because you'd want to wait 2 or 3 months before you experience those. So what I'm getting at is, I mean, if we found you the right opportunity, are you ready to make a move now?
Uh,
Because
off.
right now, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in a month or two, my friend. Interest rates vary; they go up and down all the time. Can we agree on that?
I understand, but
And
I have
right now, interest rates are very favorable. They're as low as they've ever been in history. Do you agree with
been
that?
low for a while.
And they'll probably stay pretty attractive, but nevertheless, there are opportunities in the market right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think I just need to do my research to define what do I agree I should be on the same page with you about opportunity. So to define a
Oh,
good
okay.
opportunity, so I
So
need to know more.
what in your opinion would be what in your opinion is a good opportunity? What
Good
are you looking
price,
for?
something I really like, but now I don't know what I like.
And how are we going to discover what you like?
I think in a month or two, maybe if I'm ready, saw some homes I really like. I'm starting to do showings. If I'm ready, yeah, I can give you a call.
So you want to identify what you're looking for?
Yes, I want to know what I'm looking at the area. Yeah, you give a lot of a good opinion about the area, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, Mountain View. But I still want to figure out myself to be more sure about where I'm looking. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And what information would you like from me that can help you determine these questions?
Yeah, if you found some good homes, definitely send over to me. Yeah, all your like materials. Yeah, those should be a good information.
Okay, fantastic. Would you feel comfortable using my app to look at properties if I gave it to you?
What's your app different from like Redfin and Zillow?
It's actually very similar, but as far as looking for properties, but the biggest difference between my app and those is that my app is tied to me, so that if you have any questions or if you have any concerns about any property, it makes it very easy to communicate with me That way I can understand what you're looking for and can better serve you.
Oh, by the way, do you have some like on your app have some homes that I cannot find on Redfin Zillow or some special? Because I talked to another campus agent, they said they have a lot of like coming soon listings in their own like groups.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're always networking, looking for the best opportunities for our clients. And, you know, those rest opportunities are few and far between. And I'll be honest with you. My most loyal clients are the ones that get those opportunities. So I share those opportunities with people that are committed to working with me, and they're ready to buy a home. And if you're ready to buy a home and ready to make that commitment, I'd be more than happy to share those opportunities with you. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be really interested to me. Yeah, if you can give something like not offer to someone else, that's great.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So George, when are we going to get together and look at homes? Are you free on the weekend?
I don't know what home I'm looking at. So based on
Excuse
your
me?
recommendation, we'll just see a few.
Yeah, based on my recommendations. How's that sound?
Okay,
That way we
if
can
I'm
get an
free, yeah,
understanding.
we can.
That way, you
we
know,
can
I
see
can get
one
an
or two.
understanding of what you're looking for. You can get an understanding of how I work and how we evaluate homes. And then we can determine if moving forward would be appropriate.
But you know, I'm not ready to buy this month, right? I'm ready to buy in September.
That's what you said.
Okay, well, if that's the case, fine.
Well, you also mentioned that if we found you a great opportunity, you'd be willing to evaluate, yes?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is important. If we're waiting till September because we're waiting for some stocks to drop or for whatever, that's okay. We can wait till September. It's important that you understand what's in the market and you understand if we're a good fit to work together. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, if I have some time. Yeah, we
Great.
can go for a tour. Mm-hmm.
Great. Then we'll see you on Monday, or we'll see you Saturday, Sunday, whenever we book the appointment.
All right.
And then we'll book the appointment, and then we'll work to get George's loyalty.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank you, George.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions, concerns, or ahas based on that conversation?
Did I play too tough on you, or it's okay?
You did a great job, and I'm glad you did, because that's reality. And I can't help people if people are always easy on me, right?
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you for making it a challenge.
Yeah, I think that is so true for me. Even when I first started, I started got my license in 2017. I worked for a couple of months as a realtor agent, and I found the customer exactly like that. Clients.
They are, because clients are non-committal, and something you have to understand also is the source of the leads. That, you know, your internet leads are like George was pretending to be, found me on the internet. So it's going to be a lot colder, and it's going to be a lot more convincing that you're going to have to do to convert that lead into a client. And for brand new agents, it's going to be a hard road, a very hard road, which is why we emphasize working your database. Because the question I asked, you know, if they were referred to me, I can go back, you can go back to the person that referred you and leverage their referral to help you close that business. Hey, you know, Tony referred me to you because he thought that we would work well together.
Yeah.
Do you trust Tony's judgment? And if they say no, then you know, okay, this will be one way. But if they say yes, then it gives you a total close to get that commitment. Tony says I'm the best. What's wrong with Tony? Nothing. Great. Do we agree that I'm the best? Yes, we do. And then move on. It's easier.
Yeah, I
if they're
think you want to
referred.
try to create some like agreement.
Yeah. I'm sorry, George, what was that? I'm sorry, I missed your question.
Yeah, I think you're trying to create some agreement, like showing homes, if they are not ready now for weekends, or what kind of a benefit you can create, like a more like a rapport during the showing.
That's it. It's just
True.
building rapport.
Yeah.
Building
Okay,
rapport.
got it.
Ideally, I'd like to have that discussion, obviously, with you on a Zoom, or before showing homes, especially today, if we're worried about COVID. So it's important, I guess, to understand who we're calling and why we're calling them. So if they're internet leads, or we're just in terms of, are we calling people to book the appointment, or are we calling people we already have a relationship with to book showings, or are we calling people about those showings to get them to make offers?
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
I have a
Alice, please.
question. And so I have this kind of situation also. And so the buyer is a referral, but it seems that he actually working with someone else also. And so my question is, I wanted to send him like my buyer's guide that has everything in it, like has contingency and everything. Is it something that I should not give to him because he could just take it and then still work with other agent anyway?
It's either way. You want to give it to them to get them to work with you. If they work with somebody else, they work with somebody else. You don't have less control over that, but you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win their business.
Okay, got it. So
if the
just
best
give it to him.
opportunity-
Okay.
Yeah, if the best opportunity is that buyer guide, then share your buyer guide. That's okay. And
I
just,
see.
when you share something like this, right? Yes, you're giving something away, but you know what you're getting in return?
50% chance that he's working with me.
You get a
Rather
chance
than
of them working
zero.
with you. That's it.
Right.
You get the opportunity to follow up with them, right? Then you call them the next day and say, hey, Mr. Buyer, did you get a chance to review the information I sent?
Right.
Do you have any questions? And that gives you an additional opportunity to then close them for the appointment that you're looking for.
Right. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other ahas? Any other moments you guys would like to share?
I'm going to call my old clients who I know are happy to hear from me. And I don't reach out to them.
Great. Great. And how is things going so far, guys? I mean, have we been trying to book our appointments and reaching out? Do we have any scenarios that you need some help with? We just had a good back and forth with George regarding an internet lead.
Yeah, I have doing like a lot of like Zoom first time consultation with my online leads. So when they reach out to me, I just say, oh, it's best we can do it Zoom. But sometimes, I mean, 10 or 20% they are hot leads, so they are ready to buy now, have the money or willingness to buy and look at the homes. But like I would say 70 or 80% they are not ready yet. So just a different way. I'm doing the house search to show them their area. When they're ready, they can call me. But other than that, maybe the smart plan I can use. I don't have something else to do the touch, like 8 by or it's 33 touch or 8 by 8.
Yeah, 8 by 33. Yeah, you want to have those systems set up in your the smart plan set up so that you can easily add people to those smart plans. But remember that what those smart plans are is just a reminder of when to reach out to people. I mean, we can easily manage a 50-person database, but when you get the goal, right, to get 300-400 people in that database, you need some help to keep things straight.
My previous understanding for smart plan, I thought it's like automation like emails to reach out people in certain way, but it looks like it's not. It's combination of action, call, email, different things, right? So
there is, and there's so many different strategies that you can do with email. I mean, we can send and you have to send different things, right? You're going to send listings, but then every now and then you got to have one of those, hey, how you been? Emails. that don't focus on listings and see if that generates a reaction. So when you put them on a smart plan, the system is already set, right? This week I'm going to call them. Next week they're going to get the email. Every day or every week they're going to get the neighborhood email. And then once a month I'm going to just send them a quick what's up email. Like, hey, I haven't heard from you this month. How's everything going? Everything going okay with work? How's your family? Hope all is well. Let me know if you need anything. That's it. That's it. This is like some basic ones. Obviously, that we can send marketing pieces as well. But those basic ones too are kind of marketing pieces because they're going to try to incite some just to incite a dialogue. We want to get it back and forth with someone about real estate. And again, don't get discouraged if people don't necessarily respond. Don't get discouraged that, you know, they don't respond 2 or 3 times. Just keep sending it until they tell you to stop. If they tell you to stop, take them off your list. No big deal. Take them off. You got to call 5 people, get a few people to put on. Your database is a flux, guys. It's always going to flux. The 300 people that are in your database now, or the 100 people that are in your database now, in 2 or 3 years, you could have a whole different 200 or 300 people. You could. A lot of that's going to depend on where they came from and where they're going. You have a lot more internet leads, they're going to siphon, they might cycle back and forth. You know, if most of your business is built on referrals from sphere and influence, they'll probably be a little stickier. Just understand what kind of database you're working and work it accordingly. All right, we want to make our daily success lists. You'll prioritize what you need to do every day. And make sure you focus on the one thing that makes other things less important or even obsolete. Because when you make your task list and you ask yourself the question, you know, out of these 3 items that I have to do, what's the most important? What's going to get me to where I need to go? And then prioritize. There's only so many hours in the day. Want to make sure we're being the most effective that we can. All right, guys, I think that's it for this session. Any other questions, concerns?
Wonderful. Good job. Great job.